Our mission is to help you learn the English language. We have created easy-to-follow, free educational materials for those seeking knowledge of English.
Why aren't you at work?
I called in sick.
I like football best of all.
Do you?
It's a very good game.
Do you watch it or do you still play it?
I only watch now.
Hey, look. They're playing reruns of the 1996 Olympics.
Isn't that Michael Johnson? I think he set a world record in this race.
He completed the first 200/400s double in Olympic history.
Are you sure? What about Carl Lewis? He won 4 golds, didn't he?
Carl won the gold in the 100, 200, long jump, and 4x100 relay in 1984.
I like the way Carl runs. He looks more graceful.
Is there a city where it's always warm?
Yes, there are many cities where it's almost always warm. San Diego, for example.
Are there any other cities where it's always hot?
Many. Most of the cities in the southern part of the United States are hot all year.
But why do so many people live there?
Most people grow accustomed to the climate, but there are many others who complain about it all the time.
Are there any cities where it rains a lot?
Several. 2 good examples are Seattle, in the state of Washington, and Portland, Oregon.
Tell us about some cold cities.
In the north there are many cities which are very cold in the winter. Boston and Chicago are 2 of them.
Is it always cold in Chicago and Boston?
Oh, no. On the contrary, there are many beautiful days, especially in the spring and fall.
Is Jack still staying idle every day?
No, he has mended his way. After his father died, he set his hand to the job of putting his business affairs in order.
Really? He is so competent now.
You can't imagine what he is like now.
Do you like cooking?
Yes, I do it a lot. But I don't like doing dishes. What about you? Do you like cooking and then cleaning up afterwards?
To be honest, I don't really like doing either one. I can't cook and I hate cleaning.
Suppose you have to do one of the 2. Which do you prefer?
I would rather do the dishes than cook.
I prefer the absent. The way I see it, to do the dishes is boring.
Let's make a deal.
What?
I'm going to buy some vegetable and you cook.
Will you do the dishes after the meal?
Fair enough.
I am not convinced by your explanation. Could you explain it?
Sorry, I really can't do that. There's little time left for us.
I can't accept your excuse. It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, but I have an appointment with Anne.
Okay, sounds good. But I think it's your trick.
There are so many environment problems in the world today. Do you think we can really solve them all or will destroy the world?
I hope that world leaders can get together and agree on a plan for action. But I doubt it'll happen before it's too late.
We need to solve the problem of air pollution before we destroy the atmosphere. There's lots of clean, modern technology, but companies in developed countries say it's expensive. Developing countries put more emphasis on economic development than on environment protection.
Everyone is looking at the issue in the short term, rather than the long term. It's the same with the destruction of the rainforests. Countries and companies just want the wood. They're not thinking about the long-term damage to the forests. We should also remember that the forests are an important natural habitat for thousands of species of animal and plant life.
In other parts of the world, especially in Africa, there is a problem with desertification. Climate change and over-farming are causing farmland to turn into desert. It means that people cannot grow enough food.
It also means that people sometimes fight over the FAMP3 land that remains. Damaging the environment actually leads to conflict between people.
Have you ever thought about joining an organization committed to protecting the environment? You could get involved with projects to improve the environment.
I think I'd like to do that. I could take the things I learn here back to my country when I have finished my studies.
Let's get together this weekend.
Sounds good.
How was your business trip?
Great. They wined and dined us all week.
How do you know? I thought Taiwanese people didn't have garage sales.
You're right. We're not really into used stuff.
Well, I've grown to like secondhand things. I wouldn't have gotten through university without them.
There aren't many places that sell used things in Taiwan, besides auction websites.
I use those sites. Hey, let's go check out a flea market later.
Great. I can teach you men a thing or two about shopping.
Is the environment a big issue in your country? It is in mine.
It is in mine too. The biggest issue is water. The climate is dry and so water conservation is very important.
What methods do you use to conserve water?
Water is rationed. We can only use a certain amount each month. It means that we cannot use some modern household items, like washing machines. They use too much water.
I see. I think the biggest environment problem in my country is air pollution.
Yes, I agree. The air here is much more polluted than in my country. Of course, my country is more agricultural and has much less industry.
We have reduced emission of air pollutants in recent years, but cars are still a major source of them. Factories have become cleaner as stricter environment pollution laws have been introduced.
The problem is now on a truly global scale. I don't believe that any single country can do anything about it.
I think you're right. There needs to be an international response to this problem. Ikebana. It's an art of flowers and it's quite different from Western-style flower arrangement because in Ikebana's theory you can decorate one flower, only with one flower.
What's another Japanese art?
Japanese art? Ikebana. Tea ceremony.
Tea ceremony. Tell me about tea ceremony.
Tea ceremony. There's a certain way you have to make tea. Not only make tea, there's a certain way to, for example, wipe a bowl.
I see.
Yes, with one piece of cloth, and you need to learn how to fold the cloth so that you use each part of the cloth only once to wipe the bowl.
How do you learn that? Is that something that your mother would teach you? How do people learn that?
There's some professionals for both flower arrangement and tea ceremony. So you need to go to a school, yes, and learn from your teacher and their hierarchy and the organization, and you need to pass each test to climb up the ladder in the hierarchy. What's your working day like?
I have a typical 9-to-5 job. Actually, I work a little longer than 9 to 5 most days.
Do you get paid one time?
No, I don't. I get a bonus each month, depending on the value of the contracts I sign with clients.
Do you have any breaks?
We have an hour-long lunch break from 12 to 1. We can take coffee breaks during the day. My boss doesn't mind, as long as we get out work done on time.
My boss gets annoyed if we take coffee breaks. I suppose your job involves a lot paperwork, doesn't it?
There's some paperwork, but most of the time we put any information onto computers. Then we can send information to each other by email or across the network. Do you work in a cubicle?
Yes, I do. I don't like it very much.
I work in a cubicle too, but I don't mind it.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.